Did you know absentee voting actually goes all the way back to wartime? It first came up during the Revolutionary War, when people who were away still wanted a say in their elections. Local leaders had to figure out, how do we make sure people can vote, even when they're not physically here? That idea really took off during the Civil War when absentee voting became more common, but only for certain people. At first, it was mostly limited to members of the military, so even though it expanded access in one way, it was still pretty restricted. And that tension between expanding access and limiting it has shaped voting laws ever since. After the Civil War, Mississippi actually made a major step forward. At the 1868 Constitutional Convention, there were 78 white delegates and 16 black delegates. And during this time, black men in Mississippi gained the right to vote even before the 15th Amendment was passed nationwide. But that progress didn't last long. In 1890, a new constitutional convention was held in large part because white Mississippians felt threatened by the growing political power of black voters. So white delegates rewrote the rules to maintain control. They added provisions designed to block people, especially black voters, from the ballot. Things like literacy tests, poll taxes, and grandfather clauses. So while the law didn't explicitly say you can't vote, it made voting much harder for certain groups. It's a pattern you'll see again and again. One step forward, two steps back. Fast forward to the 1940s and 1960s. Absentee voting opens up again, but still mostly for military members. At the same time, black Mississippians are organizing, registering voters, and demanding equal access, and they face serious violence for it. Herbert Lee was murdered in 1961 for his work with voter registration. In 1963, Fannie Lou Hamer and Sylvester Simpson were beaten after hosting a voter workshop. That same year, civil rights leader Medgar Evers was assassinated outside of his home. But the movement didn't stop there. In 1964, the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party was formed to challenge exclusion in the political system. And during Freedom Summer, organizers across the state worked to register black voters despite enormous risks. In 1965, something major changed. The Voting Rights Act was passed, making it illegal to discriminate in voting. This law helped dismantle many of the barriers that had been in place for decades. It was a huge step forward, but not the end of the story. So where are we now? Mississippi still does not have early voting. We do have absentee voting, but only under specific conditions. Not everyone qualifies. Ballots can be counted up to 5 days after Election Day, as long as they're postmarked on time. But even that is being challenged in the Supreme Court. Mississippi also requires a photo ID to vote. And under the SHIELD Act, which goes into effect July 1 of this year, the state will update voter rolls by comparing records across databases, which may lead to eligible people being removed. Another major issue is felony disenfranchisement. In Mississippi, people convicted of certain felonies lose their right to vote unless it's restored. And the list is long, everything from robbery to forgery to certain theft-related charges. That means tens of thousands of people who have served their time are still being excluded from the voting process. So what does all of this mean? Mississippi has made some progress, but there are still real barriers to voting. From strict absentee rules to disenfranchisement laws, access to the ballot isn't equal for everyone. Understanding this history helps explain why voting rights are still a big issue today. Because the story of voting in Mississippi isn't just about the past, it's still being written. Follow along for more in our voter education series and learn how you can make your voice heard.